Hello everyone, happy March, and it is my favourite readathon because it's Taylor Swift themed, and that is Tis the Damn Readathon. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And I'm going to be vlogging the entire readathon. I am also taking part in Greek Godathon, but I'm using Tis the Damn Readathon to kind of structure my reading this month. I'm going to be reading the books in the order of the prompts, and then I'm going to fit the Greek god prompts around those. You will also be fed up of me singing by the end of this month because I'm going to be doing a little bit of Taylor song for every single book to get us in the mood for whichever Taylor Swift era each vlog is for. So in this reading vlog, we're going to be covering the country era. So Taylor Swift, Fearless, and Speak Now. And if you don't know much about the readathon, then there is a prompt for every Taylor Swift album. So it works out quite well to kind of split it into 3 groups of 3-ish, kind of. So that's what I'm going to be doing with these reading vlogs. The first prompt is for the Taylor Swift album, self-titled Taylor Swift album. The prompt is to read a memoir, and the kind of second option for that one is our song, read a book about music. And it just so happens that the only memoir on my shelves is from a musician. So I'm currently reading Undivided by Vicky Beeching. I started it yesterday and I read probably about 100 pages this morning, so I'm sort of past a third of the way through. And Vicky Beeching is one of the biggest musicians in the Christian modern worship music scene, and she came out a few years ago as gay and wrote a memoir, wrote an autobiography, and I'd been eyeing it up for a while, umming and ahhing as to whether I should read it. I mentioned in my TBR for the month I am also a queer Christian, and not gonna lie, I was kind of like, I didn't want to relive some things, I didn't know how much, if I was in a place to be reading this, but I felt like the time had come. I visited Gaze the Word bookshop a couple of weeks ago, so I picked this up while I was there, and I'm really enjoying it so far. As you can see, I like to match my bookmarks to my books, so I have a rainbow bookmark, and I'm really enjoying this. Even from the preface, because I was interested by the title Undivided, and she talked about how we can't divide our lives up in terms of your different identities and the things that define who you are, including your sexuality and your faith, that you can't divide those up into boxes. They're all one whole being of you being undivided, and I loved that so much. I was like, that's such... Yes. So at the point that I've got to, she's finished her university studies and is off to America to pursue her career. There's a lot of pain, as you can imagine, but what I'm really enjoying is her sort of exploration of her faith and examining her own faith and the way that she's been raised and the rules that she was taught by her church at home, and realising that questioning those is not a bad thing, and reframing her faith in that. So I think it's going to be a really interesting read. I hope it's also going to be really helpful for myself. So I will keep you posted as I read some more of this. And now I'm also simultaneously fulfilling the Speak Now prompt, because the prompt for that one is to listen to an audiobook. And I've accidentally picked another memoir, which I did not think I was doing. I hadn't thought about that until I started listening to it. I was like, hold on, we've got 2 memoirs going on. But it's very different. It is This Is Going to Hurt by Adam Kay, which is very famous. There's just been a TV show about it, and is sort of Diaries of a Junior Doctor. So it's a mixture of his own diaries, presumably edited with names changed, etc., from when he was a junior doctor. He's now a comedy writer, interspersed with sort of observations about the time. I've listened to quite a lot of it already. He narrates the audiobook himself, and he's a comedian, so he's a very good narrator, and it sort of brings it all to life a bit more. I am really enjoying it. It is quite, if you're squeamish, then maybe watch out for that. But I think knowing that this book was published with the intention of shedding light on the day-to-day lives of a junior doctor, I think it definitely accomplishes what it sets out to do. You know, it is funny, it is heartbreaking and tragic, but its goal is to tell you what day-to-day life is like, and it does do that. So that's where I'm at the moment reading wise. I'm hoping to read a bit more of this today, and I will keep you posted. I hope that you're all having a lovely day, and I will catch you up very soon with what I have read. Hello everyone, I hope that you are very, very well. In fact, you could say, I hope that you are having the best day. There's going to be loads of Taylor Swift puns. Or maybe that will just be the one. We'll see how we go. So, reading update. Lots to update you on. It's been a couple of days. I finished Undivided. It was so good. It was so good. It was very readable. Like, I could literally, I think I read it in like 2 or 3 sittings, which for a non-fiction book, you know, is pretty good going. But yeah, very well written, very like absorbing. You really felt like you got to know her as a person, which I always like in a memoir. So I think when I last updated you, I got to the end of like her university studies. So just as she's moving to America, starting her career as an evangelical musician, and kind of that tension between her personal life and her public life, and the fact that for pretty much all of her life then those were separate things, even to the extent that like she did not tell a single soul, she did not come out to anyone basically until she was in her 30s, which is just heartbreaking, what she went through. I did really enjoy the theological discussion as well. As I said, you know, as a queer Christian myself, then that's something that definitely like drew me to this book. So I'll probably look more into the kind of books that she mentions with regards to that. So great start to the readathon. Great book, great read, loved it. So I'm listening to This Is Going to Hurt. I've listened to a couple more hours of it. I'm probably about halfway through now. It's definitely unlike, so this one definitely has like a narrative of her life, right? Whereas that is more kind of, it's a collection of stories that are structured chronologically. But you know, they are entertaining. Some really, really heartbreaking ones though. But on the whole, it's a funny, if occasionally gruesome listen. I can see why, like, the main criticism of the book and of the TV show, etc., that I've seen is that like, the butt of the joke is patients who have health problems, because that's, you know, their patients, which is like, you know, is unfortunate. I think the fact that it's written, like, the goal of the book is not to make fun of patients. The goal of the book is to show what life is like in a funny and entertaining way, but to give like a kind of glimpse behind the curtain as to what life is like as a junior doctor. And I think it does that very well. So enjoying it at the moment, definitely enjoying it. I'm going to listen to some more shortly, going to go for a little walk. I've also read, I started Cemetery Boys, so this is my Taylor Swift book. This Is Going to Hurt was my Speak Now book, and Cemetery Boys is my Fearless book. So I'm reading this for the prompt for 15, read a YA book, and I'm already halfway through. I started it on my break yesterday at work, and I read a lot this morning, and I'm loving it. It is so great. The writing is amazing, the character is amazing. So the main character is Yadriel. He is a young trans boy. He's 16 at the start, and he wants to prove that he is a brujo, that he can go through the rite of passage for all the men in his community, and something went some interesting things going on, we don't know exactly what, but he accidentally raised the spirit of a guy from his school who had died. They don't know how or what, like, the circumstances of his death. He had literally just died, and Yadriel raised his spirit, and now they're going to finish Julian's unfinished business, finding his friends, working out what's going on, and it's just so great. It's so great. It's so good. This is like the best of YA, when YA is at its absolute best, and it's the kind of book that makes you think, why aren't adult books like this? You know, like usually, you know, I tend to read adult fiction because that's, you know, I'm an adult, that's who's aimed for is me. Most YA books now are, you know, they're all aimed for people younger than me, so they just tend not to be the sort of thing I pick up. But when I pick up a book like this, I'm like, more adult books should be like this. This is glorious. I'm loving it. So I shall leave you for now. As I said, I'm going to go out for a quick walk, listen to some more of This Is Going to Hurt. I might try and read a little bit more of this before I go to work as well later on. But I will keep you posted. I'll catch up with you soon. Hello everyone. Time for a quick update. I realise I always wear the same clothes to film. I have other clothes. I just want to get that out there. I have other clothes. But like my flat is very cold, so I come back and I just put on my favourite jumper. So that's why I'm always in the same clothes. But reading update. I finished listening to the audiobook. I'm not a fan of the framing. Give me a second. Okay. I finished listening to the audiobook of This Is Going to Hurt. Really enjoyed it. Gave it 4 stars. There wasn't like a narrative, which is fine. You know, it was a collection of anecdotes that ended with an impassioned plea to support the NHS, which is what I expected. I got what I expected. It was very funny. It was very dark. It was darkly funny. It was sometimes just dark. I think it worked really well as an audiobook, being sort of read by a comedy writer. You know, he's a good narrator, and because the final sort of conclusion is talking about the NHS and the challenges facing it and what it's, you know, what you can do to help and that sort of thing. And you could really like sense the emotion in his sort of impassioned plea at the end. So it worked very well as an audiobook. If you are considering reading it, I would recommend listening to the audiobook. And it wasn't very long either. It was less than 6 hours, which is very short for an audiobook. And the fact that I listened to the whole thing in less than a week, you know, usually it takes me weeks to get through an audiobook. So, you know, it was very listen-to-able. And with that, I ticked off Speak Now for the audiobook prompt. So, Cemetery Boys. I've lost the dust jacket. I have the dust jacket. I haven't lost it. I took it off. That was confusing. But Cemetery Boys. I am not much further through. Like, just past halfway. I haven't read very much since I last updated you, but I'm going to go and read some more now. And I will keep you posted. So I hope you're all having a lovely, lovely day. And I will keep you posted. I'll let you know when I've read some more Cemetery Boys what I thought. Hello everyone. I have finished Cemetery Boys. And I loved it. It was so good. It was so good. So kind of gripping from the get-go. The characters were great. The story was great. I felt like the romance and the sort of fantasy storyline both felt really organic, which was really nice. They both sort of happened very naturally, which I really, really liked. The sort of reveal as to what was going on at the end, I sort of saw a little bit coming, just because we'd only met so many characters and one of them had to be the villain. But it's still great. It was still great, you know? It didn't rely on the twist, because it was just really great. So I really enjoyed this one. As I said in my previous update, this is like the best of YA. I wish, if YA is like this, I'll read it until the end of my days. It was glorious. And so with that, I have completed the first 3 prompts of Tis the Damn Readathon. So thank you very much for joining me for the first of my reading vlogs for this readathon. Subscribe if you'd like to see the next one. Comment down below what you've been reading, if you've read any of these books and if you've enjoyed them, what you thought. And like this video if you enjoyed it. I will see you next time. Ta-ra for now.